And our production of A Christmas Carol. Do you know, you're coming to visit us from about 200 years in the future. And my understanding is you have things that go beep and tweet and flash and buzz. And I'm going to ask if you would to please turn those things on. Thank you very much. Then the only other thing I will remind you is, we're not so far back into the past that we don't have water closets and facilities. So there is one up the stairway over here, and one in the lobby when it comes time to commission. Having said all of that, enjoy the show.
Here we come along, bring us a merry love and joy come to you, and to you for Christmas too. And God bless you and send you a happy new year. And God send you a happy new year. God bless you, merry gentlemen, let nothing new display. Remember Christ our Savior was born on Christmas Day, to save us all from Satan's power when we had gone astray. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy, comfort and joy. Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Marley was dead to begin with. There's no doubt whatsoever about that. The register of his burial was signed by the clergyman, the clerk, and the undertaker. Even the chief mourner, Scrooge, signed it. Marley, he was dead as a doornail. And this must be distinctly understood, or nothing wonderful can come of the story we are about to relate.
Scrooge never painted over old Marley's name. There it stood, years afterward, above the warehouse door. Scrooge and Marley.
The name of the firm is Scrooge and Marley. Some people new to the business, they'd call him Scrooge, others would call him Marley. He answered to both. It was all the same to him.
Oh, but he was a tight-fisted hand, Scrooge. A squeezing, wrenching, grasping, scraping, clutching, covetous old sinner.
Hard and sharp as flint, from which no steel had ever struck out generous fire. Secret, self-contained, and solitary as an oyster.
The cold within him froze his old features, nipped his pointed nose, shriveled his cheek, stiffened his gait, made his eyes red, his thin lips blue. No wind that blew was bitterer than he.
Once upon a time, on Christmas Eve, old Scrooge sat, busy in his counting house. It was cold, bleak, biting weather, and he could hear the people in the court outside go wheezing up and down, beating their hands on their chests and stomping their feet on the pavement stones to stay warm.
Scrooge was at work in his counting house, keeping an eye upon his clerk, who was copying letters. Scrooge had a very small fire, but the clerk's fire was so much smaller that it looked like a single coal. Merry Christmas.
A Merry Christmas, Uncle! God save you!
Humbug.
Christmas? A humbug, Uncle? You don't mean that, I'm sure.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? What reason have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Well, come then, Uncle. What right have you to be so miserable? What reason have you to be so morose? You're rich enough.
Ah, humbug.
Don't be cross, Uncle.
For what else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon a Merry Christmas. What is Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? A time for finding oneself a year older and not an hour richer. A time for balancing one's books against a whole round dozen of months and finding every item in them presented dead against you. If I could work my will, the idiot that went about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled in his own pudding and be buried with a stake of holly in his heart. He should.
Uncle!
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
Oh, keep it? But Uncle, you don't keep it!
Let me leave it alone then. Much good it ever will do you. Much good it ever has done you.
There are many things by which I have done good, by which I have not profited, I dare say. Christmas among the rest. But I'm sure that I've always thought of Christmas time as a good time, as a kind, forgiving, charitable, and pleasant time. The only time I know of in the long calendar of the year when men and women seem to open their shut-up hearts freely. And therefore, Uncle, though it has never put a scrap of gold nor silver in my pocket, I do believe it has done me good, and will do me good yet. And I say, God bless it.
Let me hear one more sound out of you and you'll keep your Christmas by losing your situation. You're quite a powerful speaker. Perhaps I should find you in Parliament.
Don't be angry, Uncle. Come and dine with Peggy and I tomorrow.
I'll see you in Hades first.
But why? Why?
Why did you get married against my wishes?
Well, I fell in love.
Yeah, because I fell in love. Good afternoon.
But nay, Uncle, you never came to visit me before that happened, so why give it as a reason for not coming now?
Good afternoon.
I want nothing from you. I ask nothing of you, Uncle. Why can't we be friends?
Good afternoon.
I'm sorry, Uncle, from the bottom of my heart to find you so resolute. We have never had any quarrel to which I have been a party, but I've made the trial in homage to Christmas, and so I shall keep my Christmas humor until the last. A Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
Oh, Mr. Cratchit, Merry Christmas to you and your family.
And Merry Christmas to you, sir.
Nonsense. Flummery. Twaddle. My clerk going on about Merry Christmas with a wife and family at home and 15 shillings a week. I'll retire to Bedlam.
Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Well, I have the pleasure of addressing Mr. Scrooge or Mr. Marley.
Mr. Marley has been dead these 7 years. He passed away 7 years ago this very night.
Oh, I'm sure his liberality will be well represented by his surviving partner.
Yeah.
At this festive time of year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we make some slight provision for the poor and destitute who are in great need at the present time.
Tens of thousands are without common comforts. Hundreds of thousands without even that.
Are there no prisons?
Plenty of prisons.
And the workhouses? Are they in current operation?
They are. Still, I wish I could say they were not.
Oh, good, good. I was worried for a second from what you were saying that something had occurred to keep them from their useful course. I'm glad of it.
Under the impression that they hardly provide Christian cheer for mind and body, a few of us are endeavoring to raise some funds to provide meat and drink and means of warmth for the poor.
We choose this time because it is a time when want is keenly felt, yet abundance abundance rejoices. How much should I put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, you wish to remain anonymous.
I wish to be left alone.
Oh.
That is what I wish. Since you asked the question, that is the answer. I do not make merry myself for Christmas. I cannot afford to make idle people merry. My taxes go to those establishments which I have mentioned. Those who are badly off must go there.
But many can't go there, and many would rather die.
Well, if they would rather die, they should do so and decrease the surplus population. It is not my business. It is enough for a man to understand his own business and not interfere in the business of other people. Mine occupies me constantly. Good day.
Oh.
Direct you, merry gentlemen, let nothing you dismay.
Scat!
Be spare father, governor.
No. Get off of my doorstep, you confounded ragamuffin! You want all day tomorrow, then, I suppose?
If it be at all convenient, sir.
It is not convenient, nor is it fair. If I were to dock you half a shilling for it, you'd find yourself ill-used, I'd be bound, and yet no one thinks I'm ill-used if I have to pay a day's wages for no work.
It's but once a year, sir.
Poor excuse for picking a man's pocket every 25th of December. Still, suppose you must have it. Be here all the earlier the next morning, then.
Indeed I will, sir.
Indeed.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah,
Merry
I'm not.
Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
What?
What?
Scrooge took his usual melancholy dinner in his usual melancholy tavern. And after having read all of the newspapers, he went home to bed. Now, he lived in a gloomy suite of rooms once owned by his deceased business partner, Marley. This night, it was so dark in the yard that even Scrooge, who knew its every stone, was fain to grope with his hands.
Now, it is a fact that there was nothing at all particular about the knocker on his room door, except that it was very large.
It is also a fact that Scrooge saw that knocker every night and every morning during his entire residence in this place.
Then, let anyone tell me, if he can, how it happened that Scrooge, having his key in the lock on the door, saw in the knocker not a knocker, but Marley's face.
Marley's face. It wasn't angry and it wasn't ferocious, but it looked at Scrooge like Marley used to look, with ghostly spectacles turned up on a ghostly forehead. And although the eyes were wide open, they were perfectly motionless. As Scrooge looked fixedly at this phenomenon, it became a knocker again.
Pooh. Pooh. Humbug. Humbug's good. What do you want of me? Who are you?
Ask me who I was.
Who were you then? You're particular for a ghost.
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
Oh, Jacob. But can you sit?
I can.
Do it then.
You don't believe in me.
I do not.
What evidence of my reality would you have beyond that of your senses?
I do not know.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Because a little thing affects them. A slight disorder of the stomach causes them to be cheats. You might be an undigested bit of beef, a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, or an underdone bit of potato. There's more of gravy than of grave with you, whatever you are. Humbug, I say, humbug. Why are you following?
Man of the world is mine. Do you believe in me or not? is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men and travel far and wide. And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death. It is doomed to wander throughout the world, woe is me, and witness what it cannot share, but might have shared on earth, and turn to happiness.
You are fettered. Tell me why.
I wear the chain I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard. I put it on of my own free will, and of my own free will I wore it. Is its pattern strange to you? Or do you know the weight and length of the strong coil you bear yourself? It was full, as heavy, and as long as this. 7 Christmas Eves ago. You have labored on it since. It is a ponderous chain.
Jacob, speak comfort to me, Jacob.
I have none to give. A very little more is all permitted to me. I cannot rest. I cannot stay. I cannot linger anywhere. My spirit never walked beyond our counting house. Mark me in life, my spirit never roved beyond the narrow limits of our money-changing home. And weary journeys lie before me.
7 years dead and traveling the whole time?
The whole time. No rest, no peace, incessant torture of remorse.
You travel fast.
On the wings of the wind.
One would think you would cover a great deal of ground in 7 years.
Oh, captive bound and no island. Not to know that no space of regret can make amends for one's life's opportunities misused. Yet such was I, oh, such was I.
But you were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business. Mankind was my business. Their common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance, benevolence were all my business. The dealings of my trade were but a drop of water in the comprehensive ocean of my business. At this time of the rolling year I suffer most. Why did I walk through crowds of my fellow beings with my eyes turned down and never raise them to that blessed star which led the wise men to a poor abode? Were there no work homes to which its life would have conducted me? Hear me! My time is nearly gone.
I will, but pray, don't be hard on me, Jacob.
I come tonight to warn you that you have yet a chance and a hope of escaping my fate. A chance and hope of my procuring, Ebenezer.
Jacob, you were always a good friend to me. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
Is that the chance and hope of which you were speaking?
It is.
I think I would rather not.
Without their visits, you cannot hope to shun the path I tread. Expect the first tomorrow when the bell tolls 1.
Can't I have all of them at the same time?
Expect the second on the next night at the same hour. The third upon the next night when the last stroke of 12 has ceased to vibrate. Look to see me no more, and look that for your own sake. You remember what has passed between us. Listen well to the spirits that visit you, for this will be your fate.
It's humbug still. $1/4 past. Half past. Quarter to. The hour itself. And nothing else. One. Past 2 when I went to bed. How can it be possible that I slept through the whole day and into the next night? No. Impossible. Good. Humbug. Are you the spirit whose coming was foretold to me?
I am.
Who and what are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past.
Long past?
No, your past.
For what reason do you haunt me?
Your welfare.
Bah.
Your transformation, then. Take heed. Rise and walk with me.
I am mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand there, and you shall be upheld in more than this.
Up in this place. I was bred here.
Do you recollect the way?
No, and I could walk it blindfold.
Strange to have forgotten it for so many years.
Oh, look, there's Tom. Hello, Tom. Hi. Look here, Bert. Oh.
These are but the shadows of things that have been. They have no consciousness of us. Come.
Wait. It's my old school.
Yes, it's not quite deserted this Christmas Day. A solitary child is left there still.
Yeah, I remember. Spirited as I, Ebenezer Scrooge. And the book I am reading is Arabian Nights. All of the characters in my stories came to visit me at Christmas time. Like Ali Baba. There he is. Good old honest Ali Baba. One Christmas time when I was here all by myself, he did come just like that. Oh, Ali Baba. Oh, and there's Morgiana, the servant girl. She saved him. Look at her dance. And she's wearing the silver dagger. She saved his life, you know. It's Robinson Crusoe. You see his parrot? Yellow body, red feathers, blue feathers too. He used to call him, oh, poor Robin Crusoe. That's what he said when he came back from sailing around the island. Oh, poor Robin Crusoe! Rob, where have you been, Robin Crusoe? The man thought he was dreaming, but it was the parrot. Oh, and there goes Friday, running across the sand, running for his life for the little creek. Poor solitary child.
What is the matter?
Nothing. There was a young child who was singing Christmas carols at my door the other night, and I should just wish to have given him something, is all.
Let us see another Christmas.
Dear brother, I've come to bring you home, dear Ebenezer. To bring you home, home, home.
Home, little Finn?
Yes, home for good and all. Home forever and ever.
But what about Father?
Oh, but Father is so much kinder than he used to be. That home's like heaven. He spoke so gently to me one year night when I was going to bed that I was not afraid to ask him once more if he might come home.
And he said yes?
And he said, yes, you should. And someday a coach should bring you, and you're never to come here again. You're to be apprenticed, Ebenezer.
Apprentice, really?
Yes, but we are to be together all Christmas long and have the merriest time in the world.
Wait a moment, little Finn. Master Scrooge?
Always a delicate creature, whom a breath might have withered, but she had a large heart.
Yes, she did. I'll not deny that. God forbid.
She died a woman and had, I so think, children.
Yes, one child.
Ah, true, your nephew, Fred.
Yes, Fred.
You know this place.
Oh, I know it. Why, I apprenticed here. Oh. Goodness me, it's Mr. Fezziwig. Dear old Mr. Fezziwig, alive again. Oh, bless me.
Mr. Fezziwig, the guests will be here any minute now.
And so they will. What would I do without you, my dear? Yoo-hoo, Dick, Ebenezer.
Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Bless me. What? That's him. Dick was very fond of me. Poor Dick. Oh, dear.
Yoo-hoo, my boys. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve. Christmas, Ebenezer. Christmas, Dick. Hilly-ho, my boys. Clear away the furniture. Make plenty of room. Hilly-ho now, Dick. Cheery up, Ebenezer.
so happy back then.
A small matter to make these silly folks so full of gratitude.
Small?
Why is it not? You've spent a few pounds of his mortal money, perhaps 3 or 4. Is that so much that he deserves this praise?
It isn't that. It isn't that, Spirit. His power lies in making us happy or sad. He has the power to make our work light or burdensome, a pleasure or a toil. To say that his power lies in words and looks, in things so insignificant as that it's impossible to count and add them up? What then? The happiness that he brings is as if it cost a great fortune.
What's the matter?
Well, nothing in particular.
Something, I think.
Well, I should just like to say a few words to my clerk. Just now, that is all.
My time is short. We will see another Christmas.
It matters little. To you, Ebenezer, very little. Another idol has displaced me, and if it can cheer and comfort you in time to come, as I would have tried to, I have no just cause to grieve.
What idol has displaced you, Belle?
A golden one.
This is the even-handed dealing of the world. There's something on which this world is so hard as poverty. There's something it professes to examine with such severity as the Crusader will.
You fear the world too much. I have seen your nobler aspirations fall up one by one, until the master passion gain engrosses you. Have I not?
What then? Even if I have grown so much wiser, what then? I am not changed towards you, am I?
Ebenezer, our contract is an old one. It was made when we were both poor and content to be so, until in good season we can improve our worthy fortune by our patient industry. You are changed. When we promised to marry, you were another man.
I was but a boy.
Your own feelings tells you that you are not what you were. I am. That which promised happiness when we were one in part is fraught with misery now that we are two. How plainly I have thought of this, I will not say. But it is enough that I have thought of it, and so I can release you.
Have I ever sought release?
In words, no, never.
In what then?
In a changed nature, in an altered spirit, in another atmosphere of life, another hope at its great end. In everything that made my love worth any value in your sight, tell me, Ebenezer, if this had never been between us, would you try and seek me out now? No.
You think not, Belle?
I would gladly think otherwise if I could. Heaven knows. But if you were free today, tomorrow, then I believe that you would choose a gallant girl. Giving away everything by gain, or choosing her, do I not know that your repentance and regret would surely follow? I do, and so I release you with a full heart for the love of whom you once were. May you be happy in the life you have chosen.
Go after her. No. Spirit. Take me home. I do not wish to see it. Why do you delight to torture me?
I told you, these are the shadows of things that have been. That they are who they are, do not blame me.
Release me. Take me home. I do not wish to see it. Haunt me no longer. mercy on me.
Well, Mrs. Dickens, it appears the spirits are having an effect on Ebenezer Scrooge.
How could they not, Mr. Dickens?
Ought we invite our guests to stretch their legs a bit before the final two spirits make their appearance?
What a good idea, Mr. Dickens.
Would you like some refreshments here?
I would. I believe we'll find some in the lobby.
Oh, then would you like to all join us for a 15-minute intermission?
I've cleaned the house from Ebenezer Scrooge. And not once has he ever said, Merry Christmas. Even I, a lonely charwoman, has the decency to say, Merry Christmas. 15 years. Nothing but bah humbug.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, la 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 la. Toll the ancient Yuletide carols, la 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 la.
Come out! Come out and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me. You've never seen the like of me before.
Never.
Have you never walked forth with the younger members of my family, meaning for I am very young, with my elder brothers born in these later years?
I don't think that I have. In fact, I think that I have not. Have you many brothers?
More than 1,800.
What a tremendous family to provide for. Yes. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned a lesson, which is working now. If you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Touch my robe.
Instantly, they stood in the city streets on Christmas morning, where the people made a rough but brisk and not unpleasant kind of music in scraping the snow from the pavement in front of their dwellings.
The people who were shoveling snow from the housetops were jovial and full of glee, calling out to one another, and now and then exchanging a merry snowball.
And soon the steeples called good people to church and chapel, and they came flocking through the streets in their best clothes and with their gayest faces.
Scrooge and the spirit went invisible into the suburbs of the town, where they came to the four-room home of his clerk, Bob Cratchit.
Well, whatever has got your precious father then? Your brother, Tiny Tim? Martha weren't as late last Christmas Day by half an hour.
Here's Martha, Mother. Here's Martha, Mother. Hooray!
Well, never mind, so long as you are come. Sit you down now before the fire and have a warm. Bless you.
No, there's Father coming. Hide, Martha, hide!
Home at last, Tim.
Oh, it's nice and warm. Why, where's my Martha?
Not coming.
Not coming? Not coming upon Christmas Day?
Here I am, Father. Martha!
Why, Father, did you believe our Martha would miss Christmas Day?
That's my girl.
And how did our little Tim behave?
As good as gold, and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you've ever heard. He told me coming home that he hoped the people at the church saw him, because he was a cripple. It might be pleasant for them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Did he now?
Mother, I do believe this spring will find our Tim strong and hearty.
Well, pray so, Father.
Tim, just smell these potatoes. They smell so good.
Peter Cratchit, those potatoes will never be done if you keep letting all the heat out. Now, who will fetch the goose from the baker's?
I will.
Fine, very well now, children. Oh. Your manners and pass along a Merry Christmas. Father, will you please pour the punch?
Yes, my dear.
Come to the table, Tim. And Martha, dear, and all the potatoes.
Oh my, what a goose! I don't believe there's ever been such a fine goose, eh, Tim?
Gather in this world.
A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us. God bless us, everyone.
That brave child.
Tiny Tim.
Yes. Tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in a board chimney corner, and a crutch with no owner, well preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will die.
No, Spirit. Say that he will be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none of my kind will be here to find him. What then? If he be like to die, he best do it and decrease the surplus population.
Mr. Scrooge, I give you the founder of the feast, Mr. Scrooge.
The founder of the feast, indeed. Why, I wish I had him here. I've given a feast of my mind to feast upon. I hope he'd have a good appetite for it.
My dear, the children. It's Christmas Day.
Oh, it is Christmas Day, I'm sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. No one knows it better than you. Poor soul.
My dear, it's Christmas Day.
I'll drink his health for your sake and his, not for his. Long life to him. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge will be very merry, very happy. That I have no doubt.
I am the older of this family.
By now it was getting quite late and snowing pretty heavily.
As Scrooge in the spirit moved through the streets, the brightness of roaring fires in kitchens and parlors was wonderful.
And then he said that Christmas was a humbug. As I live, and he believed it too.
More shame than inbred.
He's a comical old fellow, and that's the truth, and not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offenses carry their own form of punishment, and I've nothing to say against him.
I am sure he is very rich, Red. Or at least you always tell me so.
But what of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. And he hasn't the satisfaction of thinking that he's ever going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience with him.
Oh, but I have, Peggy, for I pity him. Who suffers by his ill whims? Himself, always. Here he takes it into his head to take a dislike to us, so he won't come and dine with us. What's the consequence? Well, he doesn't lose much of the dinner.
Indeed, I feel he loses a very good dinner.
Well, I'm very glad to hear that, because I haven't great faith in these young housekeepers. What do you say, Topper?
Do go on, Fred. He never finishes what he's going to say. He is such a ridiculous fellow.
Well, Peggy, I was only going to say that the consequence of his taking a dislike to us is that he loses some pleasant moments, which could do him no harm. I'm sure he loses pleasanter companions than he can find in his own thoughts, either in his dusty old office or in his musty chambers. But I intend to give him the same chance every year, for I pity him. He may rail at Christmas time until he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I defy him, and if he finds me going there, year after year, in good spirits, and saying, "Why, Uncle Scrooge, how do you do?" In fact, I think that I shook him yesterday.
Your nephew is a very cheerful young fellow.
Yes, Fanny's son.
And his wife is very pleasant.
That she is. That she is.
Let's have a dance, everyone. Come to the floor. Lovely ladies, lovely. Anyone for us to know?
I don't know what that is.
Well, it is a game. Someone must think of something. Everyone must ask questions about it. He or she must only reply yes or no.
But who is?
I will.
Of course, who else?
Our time grows short.
Oh, no, Spirit. Here's a new game. 1.5 hours, just one.
Have you got it?
I have. Ask away.
Is it an animal?
Yes.
A live animal.
Yes.
A lovely furry animal.
Oh, no.
A rather disagreeable animal?
Yes.
A savage animal.
Oh, indeed.
An animal that growls and grunts sometimes?
Yes.
An animal that lives in London.
It does.
Doesn't live in a menagerie.
No.
Is it a horse?
Nay.
Is it a cow?
No.
Is it let about by someone?
No, it is not.
Is it killed in a market?
No.
Is it a tiger?
No.
A bear?
No.
A dog.
No.
A cat?
No.
It's not bird.
Correct.
Is it an ass?
Sometimes. No.
too.
Well, then yes.
I found it, Fred. I know what it is.
What is it?
It's your Uncle Scrooge.
It is!
You weren't quite sure, though, Fred.
And how is that?
You answered no to whether it was a bear.
Well, everyone, he certainly has given us plenty of merriment tonight, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. So here's a glass of mulled wine ready to our hand at the moment. And I say, Uncle Scrooge!
Uncle Scrooge?
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, whatever he is. He would not take it from me, but he may have it nevertheless. Uncle Scrooge!
Uncle Scrooge. Dinner is served.
Oh, wonderful.
Ah.
I was pudding.
You seem greatly aged. Our spirits' lives so short.
My life in this globe is very short. It ends tonight.
Tonight?
At midnight. And hark, the time is near.
Spirit, forgive me if I am not justified in asking this, but I see something peculiar and not of yourself protruding from your clothes. Is that a hand or a claw?
It might be a claw for all the flesh there is upon it. Look here. Look down here, man. Look here.
Oh. Are they yours?
They are mankind's. The boy is ignorance. The girl is want. Beware them both in their degree, but most of all beware this boy. For I see written upon his brow that which is doom. Unless the writing be erased, deny it and abide the end.
Have they no refuge, no resource?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses? Come, children.
Are you the spirit who's coming with? There are the spirit of Christmas to come? You are here to show me the shadows of the things that have yet to happen, but will in the time before us. Is that correct? Spirit of the future, I fear you more than any specter I have seen. And yet, as I know that your purpose is to do me good, and as I hope to live to be a better man than I was before, I am prepared to bear you company, and to do it with a grateful heart. Will you not speak to me? Lead on, then. The night is waning short, and time is precious to me, I know. Lead on.
So, tell me, what have you heard? No, I don't know much about it either way. I only know he's dead. Well, when did he die? Last night, I believe.
Oh, what was the matter with him? I thought he'd never die.
God knows.
Well, what has he done with his money?
No, I haven't heard. Left it to his company, perhaps? He didn't leave any of it to me. That's all I know. It's likely to be a very cheap funeral. For upon my life, I don't know of anybody to go to it. Should we make up a party and volunteer?
I don't mind going if they provide lunch. I need to be fed if I'm going.
I never wear black gloves. And I never eat lunch. But I would offer to go if anybody else will. When I come to think upon it, I'm not at all sure that I wasn't his most particular friend, for we used to stop and speak when we met.
Spirit, those are my business associates. Whom could they be speaking of?
How are you?
Excellent. How are you, Ted? I'm well. Good to see you.
Old scratch guys on at last, eh?
So I've been told. Cold, isn't it?
Seasonable for Christmas time. You're not a skater, I suppose.
Never tried. Should we go check out the pond?
I'm sure you must have some purpose in showing me these things, but I don't understand.
They left this busy scene and went into a part of town that Scrooge had never before penetrated. The streets were foul and narrow, the homes and people wretched. The whole corridor reeked of crime, filth, and misery.
Oh.
Oh, Mrs. Gilbert. Oh, madam.
Let the laundress be the second, and let the undertaker's man be the third. Look here, old Joe. Here's a chance. We all three have met here without meaning.
And you couldn't have met any better place. Come into the parlor. You made free of it long ago, you know. And the other two ain't strangers. We're all suitable to our calling. We're well matched. Come into the parlor. Come into the parlor.
What odds? What odds, Mrs. Gilbert? Every person has a right to take care of themselves. He always did.
That's true indeed. No man more so.
Why then, don't stand staring as if he was a free woman. Who's the wiser? It's not like we're gonna pick holes in each other's coats, I suppose.
No, indeed.
We should hope not.
Very well then, that's enough. Who's the worse for the loss of a few things like these? Not a dead man, I suppose.
Indeed.
If he wanted to keep them after he was dead, why wasn't he more natural in his lifetime? If he had been, he'd have had someone to look after him when he was struck with the death. Instead of lying, gasping out his laughter, alone for himself.
A truer word was never spoken. It's a judgment on him.
I wish it was a little heavier judgment. And it should have been. You may depend upon it. I could have laid my hands on anything else. Open up that bottle, old Joe. let me know the value of it. I ain't afraid to be the first, nor afraid for them to see it. We all know pretty well we were helping ourselves before we met here, I believe. It's no sin. Open the bundle, Joe.
You first. Let's see what we have here. A seal, a pencil case, pair of sleeve buttons. Ah, this brooch. Oh my. Oh, this brooch. Now that's nice. Yes, now that would be your count. Oh. And I want to give you another 6pence if I was to be boiled for not doing it. Who's next?
Here's mine, Joe.
Sheets. House. There are teaspoons. Silver, I believe. Oh, yes, that's nice. Oh, that's very, very nice. Pair of sugar tongs. Pair of boots. Could use a polish. Well, you know, I always give too much to the ladies. It's a weakness of mine. It'll be the ruin of me. Well, that's your account. Just for another penny, I'd repent of being so liberal and knock off half a crown. Who's next?
Now, undo my bundle, Joe.
Okay. What do we have here? This is quite a bundle. Wow, what's this? Bed curtains?
Bed curtains!
You don't mean to say you took them down off the curtain rod while his body was just lying there?
Yes, I do. Why not? I should have hold my hand when I get anything into it for the sake of such a man as he was, I promise you, Joe. Now don't drop the oil upon the blankets now.
His blankets?
Whose else do you think? He ain't likely to take cold without him, I dare say.
I hope he didn't die of anything catching. It's kind of going around.
Don't you be afraid of that. I ain't so fond of his company that I'd loiter about him for such things as he did. Yeah. You can look through that shirt till your eyes ache, but you won't find a hole in it. Nor a threadbare place. It's the best he had. And a fine one, too. They'd have wasted it if it hadn't been for me.
Well, what do you call wasting of it?
Putting it on him to be buried in, to be sure. Somebody was fool enough to do it. But I took it off again. If calico ain't good enough for such a purpose, it ain't good enough for anything. You can't look uglier than you did in that one. This is the end of it, you see. He frightened everyone away from him when he was alive. To profit us when he was dead.
Spirit, I see. The case of this unhappy fellow might be my own. My life tends that way now. Merciful heaven, what is this? This is a tearful place, Spirit. In leaving it, I will not leave its lesson, I can assure you. Let us go. I understand you, and if I could do it, I would. But I have not the power, Spirit, I have not the power. If there is any person in this town who feels an emotion connected to this man's death, please, show that person to me. I beseech you.
Is it good or bad?
Bad.
You're quite rude.
No. There's hope yet, Caroline.
If he relents, there is. Nothing is past hope since miracle has happened.
He has passed relenting. He is dead.
Oh, merciful God.
What the half-drunken woman told me last night when I tried to obtain a week's delay turned out to have been quite true. Not only was he very ill, but dying then.
Who will I have you transferred?
I don't know. But until then, they may be ready with the money. You can sleep with my cards tonight, Caroline.
Show me some tenderness connected with a death. Or that dark chamber, Spirit, which we just left, will be forever present with me.
The ghost conducted him through several streets familiar to his feet.
As they went along, Scrooge looked here and there to find himself, but nowhere was he to be seen.
They came upon the house of poor Bob Cratchit, found a mother and children seated around the fire.
He took a child and set him in the midst of them.
Oh, this color hurts my eyes. There. Better now. Take some week by candlelight, and I will show your father weak eyes when he comes home for the world. Must be near his time.
Past it, rather. He walked a little slower than he used to in these last few evenings, Mother.
Yes, I have known him walk with. Teach him about his shoulders rather fast indeed.
So have I, often.
Tim was light upon his shoulders, and father loved him so that it was no trouble. It was no trouble at all. Here comes your father.
Look, Father, and see how pretty Mother's is.
Oh my, what busy girls I have. They'll be done long before Sunday, I'm sure.
Sunday. You went today then, Robert?
Yes, my dear, I wish you could have gone. It would have done you good to see how green a place it is. But you'll see it often. I promised him I'd walk there on Sunday. My poor little child. You'll never guess who I saw on the street today. Mr. Scrooge's nephew, Fred.
Did you, Robert?
He inquired after my health, seeing that I was just a bit down. On which he's the pleasantest spoken gentleman you ever heard. I told him, and so I told him, I'm hardly sorry for it, Mr. Cratchit. I'm hardly sorry for your good wife.
Dear man.
By the by, however, if you knew that I don't know.
Knew what, Robert?
Why that you were a good wife.
Everybody knows that, Father.
I hope so. I hope, but I hope they do. Heartily sorry, he said, for your good wife. If I can be of service to you in any way, he said, giving me his card. That's where I live. Pray come to me. Now, if it wasn't for the sake of anything he might be able to do for us, so much as for his kind way, it was actually quite delightful. It really seemed as if he had known our tiny Tim and felt with us.
I'm sure he's a good soul.
I'm sure none of us shall forget poor tiny Tim, shall we? For this first parting that there was among us.
Never, Father.
And I know, my dears, that you recollect how patient and how mild he was. Although he was a little child. We shall not quarrelly sing among ourselves and forget poor tiny Tim in doing it.
Never.
Never, Father.
I'm very happy. Very, very happy. My poor little child. Poor child.
Spirit? Something informs me that our parting moment is at hand. I know it, but I know not how. Tell me what man that was who we saw lying dead on the bed. Before I go any nearer to that stone to which you point, answer me this question. Are these but shadows of the things that will be, or are they the shadows of the things that may be only? Men's courses foreshadow certain ends, to which, if the course be continued upon, the ends will, they must lie. But if the course be departed from, the ends can change. Say it is so with what you show me. Ebenezer Scrooge! Am I the man who lay upon that bed? No. I am not the man that I was. I will not be the man that I must have been but for this intercourse. Why show me this if I am past all hope? Okay, good spirit, assure me that I yet may change these shadows that you have shown me by an altered life. I will keep Christmas in my heart, and I will try to live it all the year. I will live in the past, I will live in the present, and I will live in the future. The spirits of all three will strive within me. I shall not shut out the lessons that they teach. Oh, Spirit, show me that I may yet sponge away the name that is on this stone. Oh, are not torn down. They are not torn down. They are here. Oh, I am here. The shadows of the things that may be will be dispelled. I know they will. I know it.
Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas.
Happy Christmas to you.
Cold, isn't it? But at least it's sunny. True. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. You're a wonderful young family.
I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I'm as light as a feather. I'm as merry as a schoolboy. I'm as happy as an angel. Oh. Merry Christmas, everybody! And a Happy New Year to the whole world! Oh. I don't know what day it is. I don't know how long I've been with the spirits. No, I don't know anything. I'm a little baby. Oh, I don't care. I'd rather be a baby. Hello there. Hello. Yes. What day is it?
Today, why, it's Christmas Day.
Christmas Day! I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Why, of course they have. They're spirits. They can do anything. Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Yes. Do you know the Poulterers? The next street but one on the corner?
I should hope I did.
A tremendous young fellow. Very intelligent boy. Yes. Do you know if they have the prize turkey that was hanging there still? Not the little prize turkey, but the big one.
The one as big as me?
Yes. An amazingly fabulous young gentleman to speak to. Yes, my buck.
It's hanging there now.
Is it? Go and buy it.
What?
No, I am in earnest. Go and buy it, and bring it back here so that I may tell them where to deliver it to. If you bring the man back, I will give you a shilling. If you bring him back in less than 5 minutes, I will give you half a crown. Yes. Are you okay?
Yes.
I shall send that turkey to Bob Cratchit. He shan't know who sent it. Oh. It's as big as Tiny Tim. That butcher never said such a joke as giving that turkey to Bob Cratchit will be. So loving as long as I've been. Oh, there's the turkey. Merry Christmas. Bob Cratchit's, yes indeed, Camden Town, as fast as you can go.
Camden Town, Bob Cratchit. Yes, sir.
Excellent. What do we got here? Here's the turkey. Here's a crown. And then you must have more for a cab. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Have a Merry Christmas.
I will. You too. Thank you. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I do hope that you were successful yesterday. It was a very fine thing for you to do. Thank you.
Mr. Scrooge?
Yes, that is the name. And I fear it may be displeasant to you. Allow me to beg your pardon, and would you do the honor of accepting...
Lord bless me! Mr. Scrooge, are you serious?
Not a farthing less. There are a great many back payments included in that, I can assure you.
I don't know what to say to such generosity.
Don't say anything. Just come and see me. Will you come and see me?
Be well! Thank you. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you 50 times. I am in your debt. Yes. Oh. Fred, Merry Christmas. And this must be your pay.
Uncle, why bless my soul.
Fred, if I were to come to your house for dinner, would you let me in?
Let you in? Why, Uncle, of course we would let you in.
Will you come with us now, Uncle?
Now? Why? Certainly. Yeah. A Merry Christmas indeed. Merry Christmas to you. That's so easy to say. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. What do you think, coming in at this time of the day?
I'm very sorry to be late, sir. I'm afraid I was making rather merry yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I will not stand for this. You understand?
It's but once a year, sir. It shall not be repeated.
But once a year, yes. Let me tell you something. I am going to pay you more money.
Sir?
Merry Christmas, Bob. And a Merry Christmas than I have given you in a long time.
You sent the turkey, didn't you?
Yes.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you.
And I'm going to raise your salary. Why don't you put some coal on the fire, and then tell me about your boy?
Tim?
Yes. Tell me what I can do to help him recover.
Well, Sir, are you feeling well today? You seem a bit
peculiar. Yes, I have not felt better in my life. Tell me about your boy.
Scrooge became better than his word. did it all and infinitely more. And for Tiny Tim, who did not die, he became a second father.
He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world.
Some people laughed at the alteration in Scrooge. He let them laugh, and little heeded them. For now, he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happens on this globe for good, at which some people get their fill of laughter at the outset.
His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him.
Now, Scrooge had no further visits from the spirits, and people often spoke of Scrooge as he knew how to keep Christmas well. May that be said of us. May that be said of all of us.
And so, as Tiny Tim has observed,
yeah!
God bless us, everyone. Stagehands. On behalf of the Stagehands, I would like to recognize Liz Erickson and Mary Anderson for their fine work in rallying this some 30-member cast into learning their lines and creating the show that you see before you. It's only because of their work that we are able to do what we do. Nobody really knows the number of hours behind the scenes that directors play in an institution like ours, which is a total non-profit. No one here is paid at all. So we do this out of a labor of love. And they have given us the greatest gift of love this holiday season. So please join me.
Up here sweating. Wrap it up.
Matt Summers make all of the special effects happen right on time, and the music start and stop, and the lights go up and down, and that's no small feat. So thank you.
and crew, I've had the wonderful opportunity to experience a lot of different community theaters, but I have to say my first time in Spring Valley, that what you have here is a golden opportunity that really creates its own sense of magic. This script is not easy to put on this stage, or any stage. It gives you a lot of things, but it doesn't tell you how to create the door, much less put a face on it. And these two have used intuitiveness and creativeness and perception and problem-solving skills, and they started their job long before anyone even showed up at an audition, for months. So to give them some food and drink and a very heartfelt piece of warmth from our heart, we offer you these small tokens of gifts to you in admiration for your work to us. There's a small gift bag there. Santa, would you come on? After believe she gets nothing for presents, so I'm trying to give it up.
I just have to say, because this is yet another example, there's so many people to thank, and I apologize for those that we're not thanking, who have done so much work on this production as well. But the set you see in front of you, all of the beautiful artwork that is done in this set, and so many, most of our set, is because of Jay Anderson, who is just like now shrieking because she hates being publicly directed. But I can't resist, so here's to Jay. You'd like to come up and greet. Good night.